Today we're going to be making a slow cooker favorite. It's slow cooker acorn squash stuffed with sausage, and it's really, really wonderful. It's in a molasses glaze. It's got walnuts in it. It's delicious and very, very easy to do in the slow cooker. It's actually one of the recipes that is coming out in my book called The Southern Slow Cooker that comes out August 2013, and I hope you'll buy it. So what we're going to do, I'm going to start by sauteing up some sausage, which I've already done ahead of time for brevity's sake. And then once you've done that in your pan, you'll see that there's some leftover drippings in there. And those drippings are really important. You actually want to use those to flavor the stuffing of your sausage. I'm going to add some onion and get this going. There we go. And basically what you're going to do is saute this until it starts to get just lightly translucent, which is more or less fancy for see-through. And you can see all the leftover drippings that are in there, the little bits of sausages that I'm starting to scrape up as these onions start to release their juices. And again, go ahead and get those up because they're really full of flavor. I'm going to let that go. And I've got a little bit of garlic. And I'm going to saute this up. Now basically you could, with this particular recipe, you could use any type of squash that you like. I like the acorn squash because it's obviously a Virginia favorite, but grown here right in Virginia, like many of the squash during this time of year. But it's also something that's really wonderful and holds a container. You can put sausage in there, you could put just breadcrumb mixture in there. There's a lot of versatility with it. Now I'm going to take this mixture, now that it's nice and translucent, as you can see, and you can see the little bits of sausages that's kind of interspersed throughout. And we want that. That's good stuff. And I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to add this in. It's okay if it's a little bit hot. And I'm just going to kind of toss this around. I want it to cool slightly because I'm going to add a beaten egg in here as well. Okay, now I've got some breadcrumbs. I'm going to add that in. Stir that around. Trying to cool my sausage ever so slightly. I've got some walnuts. You could use pecans. You could use any type of nut that you have around. I really like the flavor of walnuts. If you can get a hold of black walnuts, which also grow here in Virginia, really, really wonderful special treat. That's a great addition to this. It's got a real kind of strong, piquant flavor to it. All right. And now I'm going to add my beaten egg. Basically, this is just a sausage stuffing like you would make for Thanksgiving. I'll toss this around. And this should be enough to fill at least 2 acorn squash. And it also depends on the size of your slow cooker. Over here I have a 6-quart slow cooker, and that is one of the larger sizes. If you have a smaller one, you could probably just fit 1 acorn squash in there. And in that case, you'll want to cut the filling back because you don't need this much filling. This is probably 2 medium-sized acorn squashes worth of filling that you're going to be using here. In the meantime, and I've already done this, I've sliced off the bottom of an acorn squash, and then I've also sliced off the top, and I've cored out the center of it and gotten rid of the seeds and brushed it with a little bit of oil, and that's just to keep it moist. And I sliced off the bottom, so when it sits in your slow cooker, it'll sit flat. So make sure you do that, because if you are familiar with acorn squash, it comes to a little point on the end, so you don't really want that. And I'm going to brush this with just a tiny bit more oil. Just olive oil is fine. What we're going to do now is fill our squash with the sausage mixture, and you want to go ahead and you can pack it in there pretty good. You'll be surprised how much space is in there. And again, if you have more than one, you'll just want to divide it equally. And go ahead and let a little bit stick out on the top here. It makes it pretty when it comes out of the slow cooker. Okay, that's looking pretty good right here. And now I'm going to just brush the exterior of it with some molasses. And I'm using dark, unsulfured molasses. You could use light if you wanted to. You could use honey if you wanted to. I actually prefer the color of the dark molasses. It has a stronger flavor. And molasses is also made right here in Virginia. You didn't know that. So buy Virginia molasses when you can find it. So this is the finished stuffed acorn squash, and I'm just going to place it directly in the slow cooker. And what I've done here in the slow cooker, as you can probably see, is that I have put some tin foil, and I've sprayed the tin foil really lightly with some cooking spray. And the reason for that is when this is done, they get really, really soft, and then you can just easily lift it right out of the slow cooker. Also, it makes it so easy for cleanup, so you don't have a big mess inside your slow cooker insert. And the final thing that I'm going to do before I go ahead and set this on low for about 6 to 8 hours is add about a half a cup of apple juice. And I'm going to pour it around the sides and not over the top, because I don't want to wash my molasses off. So the purpose of that is basically just to help it steam and keep it moist while it cooks. It's a very long cooking process. So this is going to be covered and cooked on low, again 6 to 8 hours until tender, depending on the sizes of your squash. And we will be right back as soon as this is done, about 6 to 8 hours later. So it looks like our squash is fully cooked and looks beautiful in here. And again, I'm going to use this tin foil just to lift it out. It's such an ingenious way to get things in and out of your slow cooker, meatloaf, all kinds of things. And this is how it looks, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. I'm just going to move this right here. Easy cleanup, fold it up, throw it away. Now to serve this, obviously it's a beautiful presentation in and of itself, but you don't want each person to eat a whole one, although you could. But to serve this, you can cut it in halves, or if it's a larger squash, you can go ahead and cut it in quarters. And this is what the interior looks like, and it's absolutely beautiful. You can see that the squash is nice and tender and cooked all the way through. But at the same time, you have this lovely molasses glaze on top, and that really makes it. So here you have it, slow cooker acorn squash stuffed with sausage. I'm Kendra Bailey Morris. Let's get cooking.
Recipes from the heart of the home can be found on the Virginia Farm Bureau website at vafarmbureau.org.